Okay, so I'm going to talk about if I was a principal setting up a continuous improvement plan for my school. So my school is Hayes Middle School. We are 53% male, 47% female. Ethnicity is mainly white, so we have 83% white, 8% Hispanic, 1% black, and 8% other. 44% are economically disadvantaged, 7% ELL students, which means English is their second language, 18% of the students with disabilities, 30% tested at average or above on our math testing, 42% in ELA, and our 88% graduation rate. Okay, so how do we do business? Right now, we have a Falcon Force formed. It is a team of teachers and administrators put together that we come up, we form a goal, and they present it. They collect data, and they will present the data. So they've done a survey over the parents, the teachers, and the students. The parents is harder to give realistic feedback since it is voluntary. The students, we make them all do it during TA or in the morning during their time with the teachers, which is kind of like a planned period with the teachers. And then the teachers are just asked to do it, so majority of them do it. So by doing those surveys, we can get more of a feeling of their perception about our school and stuff. So the Falcon Force kind of runs that and helps us lead towards that goal. Alright, so that is our leadership in place right now. So things to look at in our school, I think things that are important to look at more in depth that we haven't is our demographics. And maybe it's because I'm a first year teacher that I don't know how well we delve into our demographics, but we need to know the breakdown of our students and all that, which KSD report card does have a lot of information on that. The assessment data, I think the biggest thing for that is we don't get the assessment data for the students until the next year, so we don't really know where they're at. And before this year, I was talking to the teachers, and they never saw how the student did on their standardized assessments before. We do have STAR, which is an assessment data that we do have, which is very important to keep up and make sure. So we need to analyze our assessment data. Knowledge sharing, I think that is something that we need as a whole in our school, is sharing the knowledge that we collect. It's important because if only a select group of teachers or select group of administrators know what the data or the things we collected are, then how are we supposed to implement this plan throughout the whole school? If we are wanting for everyone in the school to believe the plan, we have to let everybody in the school know it. Effectiveness of the decisions. We have to be one. Our motto this year is we are one. So as teachers, we have to be, everybody needs to do their part. It needs to be a whole group decision. If there's 5 teachers that aren't doing it, then the kids are going to see that, and they are not going to follow if it's behavioral or whatever it is. We just need to be very straightforward with them. I think a big thing, especially in math, which I'm a math teacher, is the flow between each grade or different subjects. A lot of problems you may see in schools is that they may, like going from school to school, so if someone from Oregon comes to Hayes and they come here, the flow between the different schools sometimes hurts the kid. So it's kind of interesting to see if they moved a lot, if that would affect their learning, students' learning and achievements. What we do for those students falling between the gaps. So a continuous improvement, we have to think about our gaps. So I think important is to look at the data and make sure that the ones that are falling through the gap, that we still have things placed. So at our school, we have, for math, we have AMI, which is a program that they are able to, during math seminar, which is a class, if you get below a 25 percentile on your STAR test, you are put into that. And it is a class to help you catch up to where you need to be in math. And then after you do 3 tests and you test above a 25 percentile every time, you will be put into back out of it. But we need, I think bridging those gaps is one of the biggest problems that schools face, because we have to figure out how we can help every student that is falling behind. Thus, that would be a big thing for me, is making sure those students that are falling between the gaps have ample opportunities to get back to where they need to be. How and when and where the teachers, administrations, are able, all of us here are able to collaborate. We do have professional development days, but one of the biggest things with our school that's nice is the collaboration is very easy to an extent, because we are all part of a group. So like 6th grade team will meet during 3rd hour, and then like 7th grade will meet during a certain time, 8th grade will meet during some time. The only problem with that I see is I'm in 6th and 7th grade I teach, and so I don't see the 7th grade side because I'm part of the 6th grade team. But collaboration is important, so in a continuous improvement plan, I would make sure that there's plenty of collaboration between the teachers, the administrations, all the people involved. Another thing is we have to plan out and lay out our goals and our vision. I know our school right now, as I talk to my assistant principal, the goal is for our math scores to go up, because we are, I think it said 30% are in the above or at average, and we would like that to improve quite a bit. It has improved a little bit from last year, which was I think 25%, but if we can keep on pushing it to grow more and more, it'd be better. That's why we have AMI set in place, stuff like that. So laying out clear goals and missions for our school. And then another goal we have right now is to track data on behavioral issues, which we're working on, and maybe use that to improve our school. The leadership in our school is important. We have the Falcon Force, as I said, that is in place. The reason that's important in any plan is you have to have all entities represented. You have to have some kind of group that is leading the charge against it. Making sure there's plenty of professional learning opportunities is important, I think, because in order for our teachers to teach the best they can, we need to give them all the opportunities they can to learn different ways, because not every student learns the same way. Outside sources are involved in the learning process, so maybe I know that our school brings in like different jobs. We have a job fair. We have just this week we had Red Ribbon Week, so we brought in a state trooper to come talk to kids about drugs and stuff. But the biggest things I think on a continuous improvement plan for my school I would be focused on is probably sharing the data more easily and making sure that everyone knows what we're doing as the improvement plan goes on. Something very important, I think, is the analyzing of the data to make sure we are doing what we need to be doing. So I think we need to focus on math in my school in the way that I want at least half, if not more, above it. So bridging that gap, figuring out a plan to bridge that gap, which it has worked. Our AMI and our math seminar has helped, and maybe trying to figure out another way for those students that aren't getting that help. So my biggest thing when working at my school with the continuous planning is bridging the gap and helping the students that are struggling, probably, and informing all of the teachers. I think every teacher needs to know what we are doing and what is the plan. With Connecting It to Kansas, we are working on relationships. Our goals we chose were to work on relationships. So we're trying to connect better with the community, with the teachers, with the just outside sources for the kids, because it's shown through other schools that the connection with being involved does help usually the student's perception, the demographic, just everything. So that is what I would like to see out of a continuous improvement plan, and those are the things I think are very important. So thank you.